Greetings, everyone, and thank you for joining me again in my little greenhouse contemplation or just conversations in the greenhouse. But anyway, I'm going to do a little reading, and this will come from Psalms 142. I cry, I cry aloud to the Lord. I lift up my voice to the Lord for mercy. I pour out my complaints before Him. Before Him, I tell my trouble. When my spirit grows faint within me, it is you who know my way. In the path where I walk, men have hidden a snare for me. Look to my right and see, no one is concerned for me. I have no refuge, no one cares for my life. I cry to you, O Lord. I say, you are my refuge, my portion in the land of the living. Listen to my cry, for I am in desperate need. Rescue me from those who pursue me, for they are too strong for me. Set me free from my prison, that I may praise your name. Then the righteous will gather about me because of your goodness to me. I guess that's Brother King David. And let's see, we can try to read something from the Bhagavad-Gita. And the Bhagavad-Gita is the book, spiritual book for the people from India. Not all, but a lot. Now, again, I cannot read Sanskrit or Hindi or what have you, but I think this is written in Sanskrit. But I will definitely try to read the translation. One should engage oneself in the practice of yoga with determination and faith, and not be deviated from the path. One should abandon, without exception, all material desires born of mental speculation, and thus control all the senses on all sides by the mind. Now again, it basically gives like a support, like you need to have patience and things like that, and determination and etc. But let's go to the Holy Quran and see a little verse from the Holy Quran. Let's see if I remember in Arabic. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Udnas, Malikinas, Ilahinas, Minshuri Aswasi Hanas, Ashad, Minshuri Nanasi Hanas, Manshuri, I don't remember. I mean, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Udu Barabinas, Malikinas, Ilahinas, Minshuri Aswasi something Nas, something. I can't remember, but this is in English. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, I seek refuge in the Lord of men, the kings of men, the God of men, from the evil of the whispering of the slinky devil, who whispers in the heart of men, from among jinn and among men. So basically, it's just talking about seeking refuge in God from men and evil people that does evil things. Now again, thank you for joining my little reading, or my little Bob Ross American greenhouse version. But of course you see I got some more oregano sitting here I'm about to enjoy. I had a basil earlier. Let me show you the smaller one, because I've done a video and the sound quality wasn't right, so I'm just redoing it. And it was a nice spider over here not too long ago, so I want to make sure I don't eat none of the little spiders. So that's why I'm kind of checking the lovely basil. But anyway, my neem got hit pretty hard by the winter. Actually, we had a little cold last week, and my heaters wasn't working properly. But basically, I want us to understand that we are one people, but yet we are divided. And I believe there is nothing wrong with individuals who love to do whatever they want. But I think it's very important for us to be around those who appreciate what they like doing whenever they like doing, instead of intermingling these things, because the intermingle of things cause a particular conflict. And it's amazing how this world runs, because when you deal with the great creation, again, not God, but the great creation, because God is a concept from the great creation. And that's why God have attributes of things of creation, like jealousy and what have not, or what have you. Um, in this world, we must understand it's going in a direction. It may seem like it's not. It may seem that, we are going in circles and circles and circles and circles. But actually, it's very apparent that there is a birth and there is a death, or I say a transition. There are levels of transition or a perceived transition. And when you look at human beings who consider themselves not merciful or helpful or kind, they more selfish, and they do certain acts of selfishness. At the end of the day, when it's all said and done, when people learn about their mortality, it seems like they bend more to the things that the ancients spoke about. You got things written that go back thousands of years ago, and it's the same particular story. And I always wonder why human beings tend to ignore, well, most human beings tend to ignore what the ancients and the present people have to say how we should live and how we shouldn't live. Now, again, going back to the concept of the great creation compared to God, the things that we know now, it is literally impossible to answer the question who created God. So we'll just leave that alone for now. But I've been having recent experiences with my meditation. And what happened, well, not consistently, but a few times, that I am conscious and I can observe my body falling asleep. And it's amazing how creation created us, because you experience levels of discomfort. And, while your body is going to sleep, or certain elements of your body is going to what we consider asleep. See, the brain created something, or some levels of the brain created chemicals that allow you to not react while you're asleep. Like, say, for instance, if you were running from a tiger or a lion or a bear in your dreams, most of us, some people do, but most of us do not have reactions while they're in this present, what we consider physical state. We can just be looking at them, they sound asleep and resting and things like that. But in their dreams, they're running up mountains and jumping over trees and to try to get away from this beast. So it's very considerate that creation created these things, because we always have to ask the question, why do things like contemplation or anger and fear and love, why these things are in existence? And it's for people who do not sit down to really contemplate a lot. They think a lot of their behaviors are local. What I mean by local is their present state or their individual experience. Yes, the individual is experiencing that, but via technology, it's amazing how we can see that a lot of people go through the same things at the same time. It's amazing how back in the days, we didn't understand the vision of flight. And what I mean by that is, when you're looking down to the earth, down upon the earth from the airplane, you see just land. You don't see street signs and buildings and things like that. But while individuals are standing on the ground, they can only see street signs, what have you. They don't see a more of a collective view. It's more of a separated, like one building, two buildings, or this street go left and that street go right. But the higher you go from the earth, it just look like plots of land. So that goes with the level of consciousness in people and the level of understanding. But what amazes me is we have trillions and trillions, I believe, of books and knowledge, or millions of books and knowledge of telling us what is right and what is wrong. And yes, we may consider ourselves as a so-called individual, but yet these individualistic ideas, when we go on these adventures, we'll find someone else who is attracted to the same type of individualism. So the concept of being an individual is very apparent that it's impossible to be an individual in a collective experience. Um, but these individuals believe that, doing these things to others and doing these things to themselves, um, especially as adults, like, going out and partying and things like that. I don't think there's nothing completely wrong with partying, but let's just look at adults. Let's look at the rewards. We got tremendous amount of knowledge and information of the results of those lifestyles in comparison to denying yourself on certain things and having certain restraints and certain levels of discipline. Because again, when you look at the end state or the threatened state, meaning that when somebody told that they'll die in 30 days or they have a terminal illness or they're lying on their deathbed, is a very consistent story for those who give more and holistic advice to those who are watching them die, like love thy neighbors and do simple things. Simplicity, is not, you know, um, what you think. It's very consistent, I know, but we don't have the verse. We don't have the other side, meaning that the people who always supported the other person and always helped their neighbor and had many levels of sacrifice. When it was time for them to go, they were ready to go. And the people around them suffered more in comparison to a greedy and a person who just did whatever they want, more selfish. When they was down on their deathbed, you had people worrying about taking their property, who's going to get this land, who's going to do this and that and that. So I guess you are what you eat. But my main thing is creation is such a blessing, but it allows us to do things that, because again, these things came from somewhere, and I'm always trying to figure out where did these things come from if it mattered. Why do we feel sad when we break up in a relationship or lose jobs or lose things that we know we do not own? Because we know everything is fleeting. But why do we have a concern? Why do we feel that pain? Or why do we feel pain of happiness when we receive the things we believe are important? It's funny that, Americans have a lot of judgment, or people in general. And it's sad that the knowledge that we're allowed to acquire now, we still have a more centralized concept of judgment. Like recently, they've been taking the priests or been, judging the priests in court. And when they made the statement that a lot of countries do not have laws against child abuse, it was pretty shocking. Even though I do know the behavior of from a global perspective than local, not just from American. So the priests who reside or done these acts in countries who believe that abusing children is a crime will be criminalized in comparison to those who are in countries they don't have laws on abusing children. And see, this thing is so complex, it's so diverse, but it's a silent yell of what we should do. Because like in Montezuma, I spoke about, even if a person's a thief, even if they don't get caught, it's something that they always got to look over their shoulders and worried about somebody robbing from them or stealing from them. So my main thing is, if living right or doing certain things of good were not important, the creation, why did creation, created a concept? Why animals just don't murder other animals just to be doing it. Why they have levels of principle, even in nature. There's always a level of principle, and there's a loud scream, even though it's silent. But if you observe it enough, it's extremely loud. You know, like my neem tree. It was cold in here. You know, so it responded to nature. So all I'm saying again, people, I don't want to take all of your time. This is my little contemplation part of my greenhouse. But I just think it's designed us, especially as adults, to really don't wait till somebody die or your life is on the line or a great tragedy to do something simple and something giving and sacrifice, because it's a collective yell of that you will appreciate it in the end, all those little sacrifices you've done for others. So all I'm saying again, beloved brothers and sisters of this earth, human beings, and to my beloved brothers and sisters, plant life, that I'm talking in their space, in their energy, to support. Because again, these plants, these herbs, they give. Look at that. They give. They give. So it's just telling us that everything cycles. You have a cycle in it. Everything is cyclical. Some people say cyclical, but I couldn't find it in the dictionary. I seen cyclical, so I use the word cyclical. And you give, you give. Everything is giving, because something gonna need to take. Just like a child. A child is born, and we are born in debt. So please, try to look at the collective story and try to listen to the great creation, because the great creation is telling us not to do certain things and to do certain things. And I haven't figured out the reason for that, but again, when people on their deathbeds and things, when it's at the end, they kind of give a story of, we knew this was coming. You know, like when countries and kingdoms fall, there's always the same personality, the same ruler, the same characteristics before that particular country fell. But again, it just we just don't we just ignore. I don't know. I don't know where it comes from that we believe we will not make the same mistakes, or we believe the laws of cause and effect doesn't matter when it comes to human beings and the treatment of others, meaning nature and their own self and life. But when you look at technology, they use in their critique people's evidence, meaning that they create this microphone, they know this microphone work, and technology use evidence. But when it comes to human nature, it seems like the evidence of behavior really don't matter until it's all said and done. So again, thank you once again for your little moment and my little moment in my greenhouse contemplations, or my conversations in the greenhouse, in the spirit of Bob Ross when he did his silent and gentle paintings. And he had long pinky fingernail. I guess my pinky fingernail grows long as well. So thank you very much for watching once again. This is Sunday, January, I think the 19th, 2014, in the morning. Peace and blessings. Love yourself, and please understand that whatever you do, whatever direction you go, just enjoy your rewards.